Peace, beloved fam, and thank you once again for being here with us at Occult Science Radio. My name is Curtis Davis, a.k.a. the Illuminated One, and you know what we all here for tonight? We had to bring this brother back. The last time he was here, he rocked the house, okay, and everybody's been on me ever since. We got to bring this brother back, and not only that, he's a personal friend and a confidant. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the incomparable Professor Griff. I'm going to hurry up and get through these introductions because every time the brother shows up, you know, he drops it hard. And if you don't know about him, tonight you will. So we're going to start off by thanking our sponsors, Per Incorporated, House of Life, at www.peroncu.org, and the new occultscience.tv, our newest sponsor. That's www.occultscience.tv. And if you've never seen Professor Griff's work, then go to occultscience.tv. He's right there, okay? I mean, and the brother is dropping it hard. And the Ancient Mysteries bookstore, which can be found right here on Occult Science Radio's main page, as well as on occultscience.tv. So please call in with your questions at 646-649-1987. That's 646-649-1987. And don't forget to press 1 in order for me to see you on the switchboard. If you don't press 1, I won't be able to see you on the switchboard. Okay, we got that out of the way. Okay, let's get with it. And once again, like I said, tonight we have with us tonight, if anybody, especially in our age group, knows anything about the group Public Enemy, okay, then you got to know about this brother. Okay, so I done said enough. Okay, I'm gonna bring the brother to the floor, and I like to call him a master teacher. That's what he is. Okay, he's very humble, but he's still a master.
Because a lot of them have the philosophy of you had to be in the system in order to deal with the system. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Just a few more books. This sister, Tayana Lee McQuarrie, she wrote a book called When Rap Music Had a Conscience, the artist organization historical event that inspired and influenced the golden age of hip-hop from 1987 to 1996. Now, these are some of the books that are out there. You don't have to have a special collection of books. These books are in the bookstores. They're on Amazon.com, so you can get a hold of these particular books. This one is by Felicia Pride, who kind of caught my interest, and the brother Hakeem, Khalid El-Hakeem turned me on to it. It's the message, 100 life lessons from hip-hop's greatest songs. This sister went into the songs and extracted the messages that we need to pay attention to. This sister's Felicia Pride. Culture Bandits, Volume 1 through 3 by Del Jones. It's a must-read. If you're going to know anything about black music and the long legacy of black music and what was passed down to us for us to preserve, you have to read Del Jones's book, his 3 books called Culture Bandits, Book 1, 2, and 3. Now, a few of the other books I'll mention a little bit later on in the conversation, but those are the books that I want to mention. The other 2 that I'm going to mention a little bit later on, I'm going to deal with a particular subject before I get into those books. Last but not least, my book that's coming out on September 10th is called Analytics, 20 Years of Conversations and Interviews with Public Enemy's Minister of Information. Yours truly, Professor Griff. And the book that's shortly to follow that is The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop, which my class starts on Tuesday. You can go online and just look up Professor Griff's class, The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop, that I'm giving online. But that's a backdrop, man. That's enough information for the average listener to go and do a serious study and bring themselves up to date so they can participate on a decent level with these kind of conversations.
I see. Now, within the past year or so, brother, we've had 2, as we very well know, 2 significant things happen in America. Okay, first was Barack Obama. Okay, we finally got a little bit of color up in the White House, at least on the surface. Okay, and of course, we lost Michael Jackson. Okay, let's start off with Barack Obama, because I'm always interested in hearing your views on what's going on the political scene, because you're going to give it to us real. You're not going to give us the CNN, Fox 5 version. You're going to give us the truth with a capital T.
Right. Well, in dealing with this whole situation about Barack Obama, as the listeners should already know, because you have a very intelligent audience, by the way, the brothers and sisters that tune in are very astute, and they're very conscious to the point where they do the actual research. And I take my hat off to them and I applaud them. But as the people already know, I participated in a DVD film that was put out by Alex Jones from Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. My interview I did at Nubian Bookstore at the behest of a good friend of mine, Brother Marcus 3X, out of Atlanta, Georgia, at Nubian Bookstore. And just picked up his camera one morning, and he decided to interview me about Barack Obama just to get my views. You know, something that we always do. He sent my footage to Alex Jones and a few other people, and Alex Jones thought it was very interesting, and he put it in his film called The Obama Deception.
What?
Myself, Garris One, and a few other people were in this particular film called The Obama Deception. Well, when the Obama Deception hit the street and it hit the internet, black people got a hold of it, and I literally got cursed out by black women. Simply because they didn't understand my position on our good brother Barack Obama. Well, I'm in a position now to kind of take my time and clear that particular position up. By no means do I dislike Barack Obama. You understand what I'm saying? I love Barack Obama like the next black person, or quote unquote African American. We'll deal with that in a minute. I love to see a black family in the White House. I love to see black people running banks. It's just that I have a problem with the fact that he's the president of the United States. There's nothing wrong with you getting a job, which is that's all he has. Are you following me? The presidency is nothing but a puppet seat. The president is controlled by people a lot more powerful than the president. And I think we need to get the listening audience to understand this particular point. Barack Obama is actually the president of a corporation called America. I've said this on so many numerous occasions, lectures, online, offline, all kinds of television interviews, and people still don't get the point. Are you following? America is a corporation. And I'm going to say this real slow. The United States government has been up for sale. They've been selling bridges and roads and highways and byways for a long time, brothers and sisters. Are you following me? We need to understand that the president, Barack Obama, is the president of a corporation called America. The corporation has a board of directors, the Congress, it has a vice president like a company does, and that's all it is. And they run this from a city-state. I'm going to repeat this, a city-state like the Vatican and like London. The District of Columbia is a city-state. All right, they have their own rules, their own laws, their own police, their own jurisdiction. All right, he runs it from 10 square miles called the District of Columbia. Now I'm going to give everyone in the audience a homework assignment. Any watch ad that you see in any magazine, the time is always 10:10. I'm going to say that again. The time is always 10:10. That is representative of the District of Columbia's 10 by 10 square miles. Ran in the District of Columbia, which they're under the influence of the Colombian faction of the Illuminati, which their logo is the all-seeing, which is the owl that you see on your dollar bill. None of this is a coincidence. Black people need to understand that you're not citizens of this particular country. You're not citizens. You're cannon fodder. You're useless eaters. You're sheeple. You're human resource. And these, I read this from their documents referring to black people. So Barack Obama is absolutely nothing but a face for imperialism, U.S. imperialism. U.S. imperialism needed a facelift, and they got one, and it ended up being Barack Obama. And we have to understand this particular dynamic. He's a cool brother, very handsome brother, very articulate brother, got his stuff together. But he's working for somebody else. He's not working in behalf of black people. And I want to ask black people, and I hope you have a few people call in a little bit later on in the second hour. But what has Barack Obama done for black people since he's been in office? Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, let me answer that question. He has done something. He's increased the troops in Afghanistan almost twice the size. And guess who's going? Young blacks and young Latinos, simply because, and young Native Americans and poor whites, simply because we can find no jobs here where we live in the inner city. That's what he's done. So you following me? So I don't have this special sentiment for the President of the United States. If anyone can call in and tell me what president has done anything to advance black people's cause in America. One thing Barack Obama has done, he's opened up the floodgates of Africa so AFRICOM can come in and control and continue to suck Africa's blood dry and rape Africa of the natural resources that Africa has. He opened the floodgates and opened the door for multinational corporations to come in and experiment, like they're experimenting with the American people with these high dosages of not only the AIDS virus, but the swine flu and all the other diseases and chemical and biological warfare that they're trying out on the people. Any of these things can easily be proven, online or offline, hell. So what I need your listening audience to do right now, I'm gonna hold true to my title, the Minister of Information, tonight. Not only books, I'm going to give your listening audience some homework assignments. The number 2 homework assignment, after you look through your magazines and see that all of the watch ads, the time is always 10:10, I need you to go to your search engine and put in The Truth As I See It. www.usavs, which is versus us.info. www.usavsus.info. It's called American Governance. It'll let you know, it'll tell you who's part of the USA and who's actually part of the U.S. And there is a difference. All right. So now, in understanding that you're not an American citizen, then how do we expect to get treated? Now, we need to let the people know that I know I'm held accountable for my words that I'm speaking. That's why I'm being very careful. I'm giving you the documentation tonight. Because some of the feedback that I've been getting, or some of the things that not only you, Curtis, but other people have put up, that I've lectures that I've done and things that I've done in the past, they put them up on the internet, and people want to subtly blast me. But as you know, brother, I give out my phone number every time I speak.
That's right.
Are you following me? So I want to let people know that I know I'm held responsible, because I was asked the question when I was in the ranks of the FOI, the Nation of Islam. We were taught in the supreme wisdom, have you not learned that your word shall be bond regardless to whom or what? Answer, my word is bond, and bond is life, and I'll give my life before my word shall fail. We have to understand that and hold true to that I'm held accountable for the words that I speak, not only in this interview, but every other interview. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So I know and understand Barack Obama's position. Early on, like a lot of people, I was hoping and wishing that, yeah, maybe something may come out of a black man being president. Are you following me? But when I seen him diss Jeremiah Wright, I said, whoa, hold up. Then I seen him diss Minister Farrakhan. And then his homeboy, Dr. Gates, got in trouble, and he tried to come to his aid, and he called the cops stupid, and he had to retract that statement. I'm like, when is the brother going to be able to stand up like a real black man? So now let's roll the film back. I want to ask your listening audience and those that are within the sound of my voice. His slogan was change we could believe in, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Let me ask a very poignant question right here. Do white people ever plan on changing?
I don't think so. I doubt that very strongly.
Do we ever plan on having a day where they even look like they're going to remotely change?
I doubt that very strongly.
Okay, then where is this immaculate change supposed to take place, and what people is this change supposed to take place? Because if the vast majority of the United States government is controlled by rich white men in power, then why isn't we can't start from the top floor and work our way down and let the trickle down effect happen? How come we can't get change from the White House down? See, this has been my question for a long time. If we're waiting on a change, how come these people can't change and set the example? So this is a change we can believe in. As much belief as black people had in the Democratic Party, I think it's sad. But there are some things that are operating in government that we all know and understand that your friend Barack Obama is not going to change. And can I read you a list of these things?
That's what you're here for, brother. Go with it.
This is the third homework assignment. Put in your search engine essays explaining what has happened to this world. Essays explaining what has happened to this world. All right? This document book listed below, these documents listed below, plus hundreds more and numerous essays explaining what happened to this world are available on this, and these are for free. Are you following me? So just put that in the search engine and you can get these documents for free. What would happen to someone, Curtis, who played a major role in the discovery of a publication of the following facts? Number one, the IRS is not a U.S. government agency. What would happen to a person like Barack Obama if he went after this particular thing? He'd end up with the sister and freedom to fascism and put her in jail. She offered $10,000 to anyone that can prove that there's a law in the United States government that has black people and the American people paying taxes. She said the IRS is not part of the United States government, and she can prove it. The IRS is part of an agency called the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. Number two, the IMF is an agency of the UN. Read Black Law Dictionary, 6th edition, page 816. Number three, the U.S. has not had a Treasury Department since 1921. Number four, the U.S. Treasury is now the IMF. Presidential Documents, Volume 29, number 4, page 113, 22, USC 285 to 288. Number five, the United States does not have any employees because there is no longer a United States. No more reorganizations. After 200 years of operating under bankruptcy, it's finally over. There's no such thing as the United States. Barack Obama is the president of America. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
Number six, the FCC and CIA, FBI, NASA, and all the other alphabet gangs were never part of the United States government to begin with. The United States government held shares of stock in the various agencies that I just mentioned. Need I read them again? The FCC, the CIA, FBI, the NASA. Number seven, Social Security numbers are issued by the UN through the IMF, which is the International Monetary Fund. Just a few more. There are no judicial courts in America, and there have not been since 1789. Judges do not enforce statutes and codes. Executive administrators enforce statutes and codes. Number nine, there's not been any judges in America since 1789. There's just been administrators. 11, we have one world government, one law, one monetary system, and we're about to get into the real hot water. We're only about to have one religion under Satan. 12, the UN is a one world super government. 13, no one on this planet has ever been free. The planet is a slave colony. There's always been a one world government, as far back as we know it. 14, New York City is defined in the federal regulations as the United Nations. You can ask Rudolph Giuliani about this. 15, Social Security is not an insurance or a contract, nor is there a trust fund. Stop thinking that you're supposed to get a Social Security check when you get 65. It ain't going to happen, man. They bankrupted the United States a long time ago. 16, your Social Security check comes directly from the IMF if you get one. You plan on raising the age, as they're raising the age on the next military draft. 17, you own no property. Slaves can't own property. Slaves can't vote. Slaves can't own property. Read the deed to the property that you think is yours that you have for your house and your car. You don't own it. It ain't yours. The bank owns it. 18, the most powerful court in America is not the United States Supreme Court, but the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania was the capital of the United States and not Washington, D.C. Ask the Freemasons about that. 19, the Revolutionary War was a fraud. The King of England financially backed both sides of the Revolutionary War, and we were held as hostages. And now in 2009, they use our birth certificates to pay off the debt of the United States. And all of us are slaves. 21, you cannot use the Constitution to defend yourself because you are not party to it. You can't say, according to the Constitution, thus and so, and therefore this, that, and the other, because you're not a party to it. They wrote you in as 3/5 of a human being. You're not even a citizen, so you can't use a particular document as defense. 22, America is a British colony. The United States is a corporation, not a landmass. And it existed before the Revolutionary War, and the British troops did not leave until 1796. We have to know our history. 23, Britain is owned by the Vatican. I'm going to repeat that one. Britain is owned by the Vatican, and America is a British colony. 24, the Pope can abolish any law in the United States. The Pope from the Vatican.
What?
The Pope. These city-states, these 3 city-states that I just told you about, London, District of Columbia, and the Vatican. 25, the 1040 form is for tribute paid to Britain. When you fill out your 1040 form, that's for a tribute to pay Britain. 26, the Pope claims to own the entire planet through the laws of conquest and discovery. 27, I got 3 more. The Pope has ordered the genocide and enslavement of millions of people. 28, the Pope's laws are obligatory on everyone. Everyone is obligated to follow the Pope's laws from the Vatican. 29, we are slaves and own absolutely nothing, not even what we think, not even our children. Once you get married and you sign a marriage certificate or a birth certificate or that certificate that you sign to get your Social Security number, you give these people the right to come into your home, take your children, and so on and so forth. When they talked about we the people, that does not include black people. The United States government was not founded upon Christianity, but upon deceivery, trickery, lying, and deceit. I'm not going to go any further because I can see the steam coming out of some of your listeners' ears. This is explaining what has happened to this world. Put it in a search engine. It's by Nicole Terry. You can call her at 717-497-5231. I had to do this for the naysayers. Some chick got on one of the internet radio programs and wanted to debate me, talking about, I don't know, he's a professor of what? What kind of degree does he have? He doesn't even know what he's talking about. Well, she can call me back at 678-557-2919. I don't run from people, man.
No, sir. I've never seen you do it, and I've known you a while.
It ain't gonna happen. Not in this lifetime. I ain't made that way, man. I'm not made that way. And we need to raise the bar to have a lot of these other brothers that's doing lectures and speaking and doing interviews. We need to step our game up, man, and be a little bit more thorough on the information that we give out.
Yes, sir.
So I was expecting change like everyone else was expecting change. But when I started studying and listening to Barack Obama very closely, he does this thing called doublespeak. It's called doublespeak. Put it in a search engine, look it up, and tell me what you come up with. Doublespeak. Now, he said something when he gave a speech before the Chicago Council on Global Affairs. Now, this is the Chicago branch of the Council on Foreign Relations. This is the CFR, which him and his wife belong to. Are you following me?
Yes,
He
sir.
said whether it's a global terrorism or pandemic disease. Wait a minute, I'm going to say this real slow, man. Because I don't think people understand the implications of what this man has been saying. Your president said before he was elected president, he says whether it's global terrorism or a pandemic disease, dramatic climate change, or proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, the threats we face at the dawn of the 21st century can no longer be contained by borders or boundaries. The American movement has passed. The American moment is here. And like generations before us, we'll seize that moment and begin the new world anew. You listen to all the code words, whether it's global terrorism or pandemic disease like swine flu that they made in a laboratory several years ago. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
It's all over the internet. Yeah, they came up with the disease swine flu in a laboratory and got a patent for it. Put in the search engine the patented number for the swine flu, and it'll come up. And here in 2009, they're about to unleash it on the people, like they did the AIDS virus. There's a patented number for the AIDS virus. Now, if this thing came about from a monkey biting a Haitian or African in the ass, how do you get a patented for it, for the cure? In order for you to get a patent for a cure, you had to at least know what it was about and how to cure it and its origin at Fort Detrick, Maryland. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
But those are Barack Obama's speech. Those are his words. A speech before the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, Chicago branch of the Council on Foreign Relations, in which Michelle Obama sits on the board of directors. Michelle and Barack are part of the CFR, Council on Foreign Relations.
Gee, now when we talk about, the way the United States is set up, brother, I see a lot of brothers and sisters talking about the sovereignty thing, going the sovereignty route. What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
Well, we have to understand something. Whether it's coming from the Moors, whether it's coming from the Hebrew Israelites, whether it's coming from the Nation of Islam, whether it's coming from Christian right-wing evangelists, or whether it's coming from outright, cats in the street, revolutionary organizations. We have to know and understand that there's a common thread that's running through all of these organizations. There's a degree of truth. We just have to go after it. Are you following me? But we have to break down these particular barriers that keeps us from at least embracing the truth and acting on it. And this is the problem that we're having. People are not standing up like those that came before us. We may talk about Frederick Douglass and the other brothers and sisters, but nonetheless, they at least had enough courage to stand up and speak it. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
And speak you truth to power. But when have we ever, brother? Whenever we ever, I don't remember a time, I'm sure you probably don't remember a time in this country when we decided to bring white people into a classroom or a classroom setting to be re-educated so they can learn how to change. I don't remember a time when that happened.
Nope.
So where's all the change supposed to take place when we're talking about Barack Obama being the front man for the Illuminati's agenda? And we need to understand, I'm not just hurling insults at the brother.
Yeah, to me, it's an interchange because ain't nothing going to happen, outwardly until it begins inwardly first.
Yeah, but when you look at AFRICOM, we see the proliferation of troops. We see the proliferation of multinational corporations going into Africa and doing exactly what was done in the beginning with the colonial powers going into Africa, colonizing Africa. You understand what I'm saying? Yes, some preachers are going to be allowed, some black companies are going to be allowed to go in and take advantage of the business opportunities in Africa, like the Asians are there now, and the Hindus and Indians are there now. But we have to understand something, man, and it's not for our good.
Yes, sir.
So they're going under the guise of the foreign policy, talking about in order to prevent such war and other people coming in to recolonize Africa, we need to set up military bases in Africa to protect Africa, not only against outside intruders, but protect Africa against itself. Ain't that a hell of a thing? You're going to come in my house. You're going to come in my house and protect me from myself.
So basically what Barack is, he's basically a front man, okay, to open the door. Yeah, to open the door for more, quote-unquote, exploitation of the motherland to take place.
Well, it's the second coming of the colonization of Africa. They're recolonizing Africa. So he has to put the Patriot Act 3 into place. He has to keep Homeland Security strengthened and strong. He has to keep appointing the same people that they tell him to appoint to the Federal Reserve, to keep his eye on the World Bank and the IMF. He has to keep the camps, the over 50, 60 concentration camps that are actively open in America right now active. He has to let Monsanto's run rampant by splicing in pig genes into vegetables. This genetically modified frankenfood, I call it. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So these things are very real, man. These things are very real.
You know, there's still some brothers and sisters out there, you know, that, we're in the same age group. And we were always under the impression that if a black man got in the White House, they would kill him, okay? And my thing is, we're living in a different day and time now. And I don't see that happening to Barack because he's basically going along with the program.
Exactly. Okay, well, we need to look at President Lincoln. We need to look at former President Kennedy. We need to look at Ronald Reagan's history, and we need to understand the position Barack Obama in. This is an interesting thing that Black Dot read to us one time, and I believe I heard Jordan Maxwell say this also. Barack Obama, they keep referring to Kennedy and Lincoln when they mention his name. And I started hearing that over and over and over again on the news, and I said the reason why is because those are the two presidents that got shot in the head.
That's right.
So what are the similarities between Barack Obama, Kennedy, and Lincoln? Let me read this document. It says Abraham Lincoln was elected to Congress in 1846. John F. Kennedy was elected to Congress in 1946. Abraham Lincoln was elected president in 1860. John F. Kennedy was elected president in 1960. The names Lincoln and Kennedy each contain 7 letters. Both were particularly concerned with civil rights. Both wives lost their children while living in the White House. Both presidents were shot on a Friday. Both presidents were shot in the head. Lincoln's secretary was named Kennedy, and Kennedy's secretary was named Lincoln. Both were assassinated by Southerners. Both were succeeded by Southerners named Johnson. Andrew Johnson, who succeeded Lincoln, was born in 1808. Lyndon Baines Johnson, who succeeded Kennedy, was born in 1908. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated Lincoln, was born in 1839. Lee Harvey Oswald, who assassinated Kennedy, was born in 1939. And this is not a coincidence. Both assassins were known by 3 names. Both names are composed of 15 letters apiece. Lincoln was shot at the theater named Ford. Kennedy was shot in a car called Lincoln. Booth ran from the theater and was caught in a warehouse. Oswald ran from a warehouse and was caught in a theater. Booth and Oswald were assassinated before their trials. And here's the final thing. A week before Lincoln was shot, he was in Monroe, Maryland. And a week before Kennedy was shot, he was in Maryland, Monroe.
Drop
and
it,
the similarities of all of them and Barack Obama did not dare buck the system. The Federal Reserve, the International Monetary Fund, the World Banks. So he'll get the same treatment that Ronald Reagan got.
And he even got shot.
And we know this. Ronald Reagan bucked the system, and they dealt with him. So we have to understand that. So what we need to do as a people is come up with a black agenda, and we need to put that on the president's desk.
Teach.
So we have to understand these particular dynamics. The Skull and Bones, Council on Foreign Relations, and the Trilateral Commission, and the Bilderberger Group all have vital interest in the decisions that Barack Obama makes. And he's not going to make the wrong decision. Trust me.
Oh, no. See, now you even got brothers and sisters running around here now thinking that, okay, we finally got some color in the White House. So now racism has disappeared. There's no more racism now.
I hear this foolish notion from a lot of foolish individuals in the community and online. Let me say one thing to them. You don't mind, do you?
Brother, that's what I brought you here for.
Marcus Klein, in his book Frontline Magazine out of Chicago, Marcus Klein, there's a question that's asked. It says, to take just one example and give it to the average person that's listening. If someone got elected like Barack Obama and tried to withdraw U.S. military forces from all of the 130 countries with U.S. military bases, this plan would be overruled in one form or another. Can you imagine Barack Obama closing Guantanamo Bay and then pulling all the military troops back out of the 130 countries that the United States have military presence in? They would get rid of Barack Obama overnight. The military bases in these particular 130 countries are there to protect America's vital interests, America's vital business interests. Multinational corporations use the military like we use security guards, like we use watchdogs. Are you following me? Can I give you a prime example? They said that there were Somalian pirates in the waters off of the coast of Somalia. Did they not say that?
Yes, sir. Yes, they did.
Multinational corporations wanted to do business in that part of the region, so they said these young brothers that got in damn near canoes that went out to defend their shores, they were pirates. How the hell you come out in a canoe and you end up on a big, gigantic ship, calling yourself taking over the ship? But they were messing with these people's livelihoods, and these people had no other choice but to pick up sticks and machetes and damn their slingshots to go fight multinational corporations off their coasts. So what did they do? They called in the Marines. They called in the Navy. They called in the United States military to protect their business and their vital interests, which we know nothing about because we don't benefit from that. But that's big business. Those are the real gangsters.
Yes, sir. This thing is a lot deeper than we see on CNN and Fox 5, fam. Pay attention to this master teacher.
You're not going to see it on there.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, and when I look at what's going on and how well behaved Barack is, yeah, they're probably going to keep him there for another term. You know, because he's following the program. You know, as long as he doesn't buck the program, then he's fine.
I was on a radio station. No, go on.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't, the minute he bucks the program, then he's out of there, one way or the other.
Exactly.
You were mentioning something about a program.
I was on a radio program, and I mentioned some of these things, and an elderly black woman called and was crying on the phone, and she said, why don't I shut up and give Barack Obama a chance? We're not giving him a chance. And I said to her, well, give him a chance to do what? He never said what he was going to do for us. So I'm just trying to figure out, well, what do you mean, give him a chance to do what? So I mentioned the fact that by May of 2010, that all of us are going to be forced to take the implantable biomicrochip. Well, what is that? I don't know anything about that. Of course you don't, simply because this is the new technology that they plan to control us with. So when I started talking about the implantable biomicrochip that they're already putting in pets and in animals, she just said, well, I don't want to hear anything about that. I said, well, why not? Well, this is how they plan to control us and use us as slaves. So I started citing sources, and I started citing good white sources, because a lot of times when you cite black sources, black people don't want to believe you.
Exactly.
So when I started citing good white sources, she had no other choice. So I said, well, let me give you a couple of websites to go to. I sent her to prisonplanet.com. I sent her to Infowars.com. I sent her to other website, Jordan Maxwell's website. You could just go to jordanmaxwell.com. I sent her to Michael Tessarian's website, to David Icke's website, and I was going on and on and on and on and citing a lot of white sources. So I said to her, I had a document in front of me called the Mondex. Brother, have you ever heard of the Mondex?
I heard mention of it, but I wasn't really too familiar with it.
Well, the Mondex is a particular company that's actually going to bring about this mark of the beast through the Motorola company. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
This particular implantable biomicrochip is going to be the size of a grain of rice. They say it's a new development in which it eliminates the necessity of using currency and credit cards. So credit cards are going to be a thing of the past. You get the implantable biomicrochip in your right hand and in your forehead, as the Bible teaches, and it's all right. The way they presented this particular thing to the rich, they said it would help the wealthy as a tool to prevent kidnapping and to identify your child in case your child gets sick, because your medical records will be there inside of the implantable biomicrochip. Once you receive the chip, you're nothing but a slave, and they control you because you can't take the chip out of your body. If you try to take it out of your body, it'll eliminate this gas, it'll explode, and it'll track you, because the odorless gas and the chemical that gets on your skin can easily be detected by satellites. It has a transponder in it, and it'll alert police agencies. We've seen this acted out in a dozen movies. Are you following me? Study the movie They Live or Demolition Man. Are you following me?
Manchurian Candidate.
The Manchurian Candidate, exactly. So this company is called the Mondex, M-O-N-D-E-X. Put it in a search engine. Get familiar with it, because it's about to go down in a few days. More than 250 corporations and in 20 countries are involved in distributing the Mondex. The church is going to get involved in a minute. The school is going to get involved in a minute. You're not going to be able to go to class anymore without taking the swine flu vaccination shot. They're going to force a mandatory vaccination. If you don't, you're going to be fined $1,000 or sent to prison for 30 days if you reject this particular swine flu mandatory shot that they're going to try to give us. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
In order for you to get gas, you're going to have the implantable biomicrochip. You're not going to be able to get food at Kroger's and Pathmark and Walmart and Kmart and all these other marts. The Mondex has actually said the best method for them controlling the people as slaves is to put this implantable biomicrochip in the forehead and in the hand. Now, this is talked about in Revelations 13, 16 through 17. Revelations 13, 16th verse and the 17th verse, it says, He causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand and on their foreheads. And that no one may buy or sell except one who has the mark of the name of the beast or the number of his name. That's the Bible. So for all you people out there that want to give me lip service and claim I don't know what I'm talking about, all you baby Bible babblers and kitty Quran quoters, go to your book, your scripture, it's there. Mondex, M-O-N, which is equivalent to money, or the monetary system, and Dex, D-E-X, equals Dexter, meaning the right side of the right hand. It's the size of a grain of rice, and all of us will be forced to take it. Now, I say we load up. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
These illusions, these false labels, and these boundaries come together as a human family to defend ourselves. That's the least we can do. Because brother. I don't know if you've seen it, brother, but I'll send you the document. I have it right here in front of me where they have Asians eating a black man. Did you see that particular document?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. But, yeah, I didn't get a chance. Please send that to me. I want to have that in my possession. Please send that to me.
They actually have a tie people out in the woods with a black man on a slab, and they're dissecting this brother, dismembering this brother, and eating him.
I saw that.
Now, if that don't move us to come together as a people to defend ourselves, I don't know what will, man. Me talking about hip-hop ain't going to do it, bro. It ain't going to do it.
That's right.
It's not going to do it, man. We have to be able to defend ourselves. These people are eating black people, man.
Damn.
I mean, how much critical can it get? We read the document, the King Alpha Plan. We know they have a contingency plan. Back in October of 1969, they put together an executive order number 11490 as a contingency plan to round us up and possibly exterminate us. The executive order was authorized October of 1969 to counteract the minority, black, Indian, Latino, Puerto Rican, and poor whites in their rise from up under the depression of the powers that be, the United States government. It's called the King Alpha Plan or Rex 84. We don't have time to go through it all. But they said in 8 hours they would round us all up. It would take 8 hours to round us up. And they broke the United States up into regions. Region number 1, region 6, is the Deep South region. Number 2, Northeast region number 7 is the Deep South region number 2. Southeast region 8, the Great Plains, Rocky Mountain region. 4, the Great Lakes region number 9 is the Southwest region. 5 is the Central, South Central region number 10, which is the West Coast region. They said in this particular document that it would take no more than 8 hours to round up the 30 million units they call us. They don't even call us human beings. This is 12 major minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. They're talking to us. They won't even call us humans in this document. Dossiers have been compiled on the leaders of these organizations. See, they've already done surveillance. They know who the leaders of these organizations are. And these organizations are the Black Muslims, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, which is SNCC, Congress of Racial Equality, CORE, Uhuru Movement, Group on Advanced Leadership, Freedom Now Party, United Black Nationalists of America, the New Pan-African Movement, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, SCLC, the National Urban League, National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, and the Committee on Racial and Religious Progress. These are the organizations. Now, we know a lot of these organizations are weak as hell and controlled by white people. So they ain't worried about those organizations now. But how about these new organizations, the new Black Panther Party, the FTP movement, the Uhuru movement? Are you following me? What about, rappers like Immortal Technique and NY Oil that are putting it down? Dead Prez. These are the people that's going to be wound up in phase 1. Are you following me? And detained. Probably injected with some kind of serum and rendered useless. But notice, when they take them brothers off the street, they coming for you, brothers and sisters, I'm telling you. Once you see Professor Griff on the news in handcuffs, you know your ass is next.
What do you suggest, brother, how we could possibly combat this? You know, because I'm always
one goal, one aim, one destiny, one God, one united force. Like-minded people need to come together and lock up, man, and start sharing information and start stocking food. And straight up, man, pass the ammo, dude. That was one of my songs on my first album, Pass the Ammo.
That's right. Now, when we look at all of this, okay, because when we talk about Barack Obama, you know, he was one of the main things that happened this year. But then we also had something else happen, Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know that there is some conspiratorial shit going on behind that. Okay, yeah, drop your thoughts and opinions on that, because that shook the planet. Okay, so yeah, definitely drop your thoughts and opinions on that.
I said early on when the Michael Jackson thing went down, the first day, as a matter of fact, that I heard about it and read about Michael Jackson passing on, the first thing I said was they're going to use that incident and drag it out to the point where they're going to captivate the entire globe and they're going to put forth their agenda, and I was 1,000% correct. Go back to your search engines. Go back to your newspaper articles and look at what happened when they announced Michael Jackson passed on. We was in a very heated discussion on the news about Iran building up nuclear weapons, the proliferation of nuclear weapons in Iran. Right or wrong? Hello?
Hey, brother.
Oh, okay.
There we are. There we are. Yeah.
Okay. Where did I leave off at?
No, you were talking about you were in a heated argument with talking about Iran.
Okay. There's a heated argument going on CNN and Fox and all the other news agencies. There was a heated argument about the proliferation of nuclear weapons in Iran, right?
Oh, yeah.
You don't even hear about that damn story no more.
Nope.
You don't even hear about it no more. What happened? The economic hitmen went in to destabilize Iran. And then they sent the CIA in under the cover of darkness while we were focused in on the Michael Jackson thing, and all of a sudden, thousands of people came out on the street to protest Ahmadinejad's winning of the election in Iran. Am I right or wrong?
Well, yeah, absolutely right.
For weeks and weeks, man, there was protests on the street until they did the election over to satisfy these people, and he still won.
Yes, sir.
And that was done under the cover of darkness while we mourned the death of Michael Jackson, who they still did not put his body in the ground.
So you're saying that tombstone that they're showing in Pine Lawn right now, that's just smoking, that's just for show?
Yep, smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors. You know, as Black Dot, Brother Rich, and some other people were attempting to go on a tour to expose this madness and to do a tribute to Michael Jackson so we could set the record straight in the hearts and minds of our people about a brother who was openly fighting the music industry. Openly, man. Openly fighting the music industry because he had control of his particular catalog, which included Elvis, Beatles, and some other artists. We had to understand the control that Michael Jackson had and the influence that he was wielding over the hearts and minds of the people. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Farrakhan came and gave an eloquent speech about covering Michael Jackson's life, going over Michael Jackson's songs and some of the lyrics that Michael Jackson had written. Do you know that there was 200 songs that Michael Jackson had wrote that was never released? And a lot of those songs was dealing with racial pride. A lot of those songs was dealing with freeing ourselves from this particular government.
Oh, yeah, they're not going to let another Marvin Gaye happen.
No, they're not going to let it happen, man. So Michael Jackson was fed a daily dose of inferiority. You understand what I'm saying? And, of course, we know and understand that he had an inferiority complex, that he felt that he was inferior and he didn't like his nose and he didn't like his complexion, and he really had a lot of love for everyone else, but no love. It seemed like he didn't have any love for self.
Oh, that was obvious.
So, as Minister Farrakhan taught, he said when he first noticed this whole vitiligo thing, it was brought to his attention, and he went to his parents and went to the doctors and this kind of thing. And, you know, he decided. He said, well, okay, well, I don't want to go out on stage with half of my face looking patchy and white with white spots and this kind of thing. So sometimes he used to wear makeup, and you can see some of the pictures when he started to change. And he wore makeup, and he first noticed it on his hand. This is why he put on the glove. We thought it was a fashion statement or something cute that he was doing, but he was covering up his disease.
Oh, damn.
And we have to understand that, man. So the brother was trying to be himself, but trying to be accepted, never really having a childhood and that kind of thing. And we have to understand the dynamics, man. Now, I'm not trying to say that's an excuse for him to turn himself completely white and go through the whole madness with the little white children and this kind of thing, whom I don't really think those children even his, man.
Oh, of course not. Hell no.
If I had children with a white woman, right, and then I go get an operation to turn my whole body white, my children are still going to be black.
Absolutely.
Well, no, those children are not his. I don't believe that one bit.
Hell, and see, what angered me is that when I look at the Jackson family, I mean, maybe they were doing it because Michael was the breadwinner, but now if they would have had a stronger sense of themselves, I think they should have all confronted Michael and said, look, we're a black family. Okay, we're a black family from Gary, Indiana. Okay, now all of a sudden, with all these young black kids out here that can be adopted, you're going to parade some white kids in here, and we expect to call them Jacksons. So now the Jackson family is going to go from being a black family from Gary, Indiana, to several generations down the line to being a white family from California.
Exactly. And we have to look at that, because when we look back on this part of history, we have to understand the psychosis, man. We have to look into that. There's no way around it. We love the brother's music. The brother, we grew up with the brother's music. You understand what I'm saying? We understand that. But we also have to understand that. I picked up a newspaper. Let me see if I still have it in my briefcase. I was just in Muskegon, Michigan, the other day. The beautiful brothers from 103.7, Brother Paul and Big Rob, Rosie and MT. It was very critical, man, because in that small little city, 150 people came out. I can't get 150 people to come to a lecture in Atlanta where I live. Are you following me?
What?
But walking through the airport, I picked up a newspaper, and it says this gentleman that did some very valuable portraits of the king of pop. But all of the portraits were him when he was really, really looking white. None of them were when he had the afro and the African features. Now, I heard recently that Dick Gregory broke this down, and he really put it out there, man. And how this ties into the foreign policy, domestic and the foreign policy. It was a lot more than just Michael Jackson doing music when he was about to affect all those particular countries on that 10 country tour that he was about to go on, which they made it a 50-city tour. Are you following?
Oh, yeah. And see, not to mention the fact that the United States had nothing to do with it. He looked at the United States and said, well, I don't need y'all anymore. I'm going to go over here to Europe and make this money, and the IRS can't touch it because I'm going to keep it all over there. And see, that tour was about to be the largest thing ever.
Right, exactly. And we have to understand something. There's a lot of beautiful things that Michael Jackson was doing. But I say from the beginning, from the time he started dissing the music industry, I said they was out to get him then. They pulled him in court, trumped up charges with the little kids. They tried to bankrupt him. He had to move. He was going through some serious trials and tribulations. I think they put that black doctor in and around him. I think they were the ones that provided the quote unquote medicine or anesthesia that the doctor was giving Michael Jackson. And if you've seen the thing on TV the other night, he says he went over a timeline on when he was giving Michael this particular drug. And it was critical, man. And you can see how Michael Jackson's little frail body couldn't hold up under the weight of this particular drug. And it just took him out of here, man. That's a covert CIA covert operation, man. That's the hallmark of a CIA covert operation. Now, we left with the legacy of a black man killing a black man. The black man killed the king of pop.
Yeah,
that's how that's going to read.
Yeah, we're gonna grab a quick question from the chat room before we go to the phones, And to me, it's a pertinent one. You know, a beloved sister in the chat room. You know, she's here all the time. She's part of the family. You know, Sister 220. She asked, why haven't they come after Prince? You know, because Prince, you know, was practically a notch under Michael. So now, why haven't they made a move on Prince?
I think the reason why, because Prince was hailed as the darling, so to speak, of the music industry. And the reason why I say that, sister, I think simply because everywhere I went, and I know Prince personally, everywhere that I went, people love Prince, man.
Oh,
people love male, female, white, black, young, old, religious, non-religious, hardcore dudes, gay people. People just love Prince.
And he's a Jehovah's Witness now.
Right. Prince fits right into that, you know, neutral guy. I'm not this color, no, I'm not that color. I don't know if I'm, you know what I'm saying? He fits right on in. And Prince is hailed as a genius in music. So Prince gets a pass. Even when Prince was on stage with his butt cheeks out of his jeans on stage, Prince still got a pass. So that's a very good question, and we need to look into that, man. But as Black Dot teaches, we don't have to control, they don't have to control the millions, the masses of the people. They control one that has influence over the millions of people, and they control that one individual, i.e. Prince, i.e. Jay-Z, i.e. Beyonce, which turns herself into this demonic entity called Sasha Fierce. They just control them. So we have to understand melanin, man. Michael Jackson was already almost dead. How are you going to live without melanin? You understand what I'm saying? If you know anything about melanin, melanin has some properties to it, man, that we can't live with, man. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So, you know, for those of you that are tuning in and don't know what melanin is, put it in the search engine, M-E-L-A-N-I-N, melanin. All right? So, melanin is that black chemical greatness, man. It's found in everything, man. When you look up at the sky at night, the earth sits in a giant room and in that room is lined with melanin. Melanin is found everywhere throughout nature. Animals, plants, raisins, bananas. Hell, you know, when you get a cut on your arm and it turns real dark around the cut, that's the body healing itself. It turns dark because it's healing. Are you following me? So we have to understand that particular dynamic. Everything has melanin in it. Do you have any more callers?
Oh, yeah, we're getting ready to go to our switchboard right now. We just want to pause for a minute. Take some time to, if you've never seen this brother, this master teacher in action, okay, his videos, go to occultscience.tv, and his work is right there. Okay, that's www.occultscience.tv. And when you get there, take a look at all the information that's on there. Much of the information that Brother Master Professor Griff is dropping right here is right there. As a matter of fact, the reason why a lot of that information is up there is because I take instruction from brothers like him. They provide me the information in which to bring to the family. So once again, that's www.occultscience.tv. So now we're going to start off, we're going to go to our switchboard. Okay, we're going to take our first caller, let's see, right here, from the 843 area code, the 843 area code. Caller, are you there?
Yeah. I wanted to know if you could ask them, like, how you feel about Senator Kennedy passing. Like, I know people try to act like the Kennedys were, like, also civil rights and stuff, but it seems like they weren't really what, like, they're being portrayed as, like, so just ask them about that.
Well, you can ask him. You're talking right to him. He's right there. He's right here, sister.
About the Kennedys?
Oh, yeah, I heard what she said. I heard it. Yeah, that's a very good question because, you know, when they did that media spin and they made it seem like, you know, like with Prince Kennedys were the darlings. You know, handsome men coming out of upstate, coming out of Boston, coming out of Massachusetts, in and around New England, coming out of that area. I believe they were Catholic, and they were trying to institute a Catholic dynasty into the White House to check the progress not only of the neocons, but the Illuminati's plan to control America. And when the Kennedy boys was up in there, they said, no, we're not going to have that. And they took out both of them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But the dirty deeds that Kennedy were doing behind the scenes, especially with in regards to Cuba, in regards to the quote-unquote third world country, in regards to having sex with Marilyn Monroe in the White House, and I can go on and on. Right. This the American people just unaware of. Or they know it, but they don't want to really look at it.
Yeah.
So that's a very good question.
Oh, I just said, because I read in this book for my, African history class, I was doing some research on Lumumba, and it said that the CIA, when JFK was president, they were trying to, find a way to overthrow him. They didn't have to, because they know that he was about to be overthrown by Mobutu, I think the guy was his name.
Oh, okay.
I just thought that was, interesting. I never really heard anybody speak on that, but
yeah, it's very interesting, and still today, the Illuminati's and the Freemasons' hand with the CIA's hand involvement in the assassination of Kennedy in Dallas, Texas, at the 33 parallel. And we have to understand a lot of those are ritual killings done on certain days at certain times during certain periods. Those are blood rituals. So we have to understand it's a lot deeper than what we think.
That's right. Any other questions, caller?
no, that's it. Thank you.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Those were excellent questions, sister. And please stick around and enjoy the broadcast. Excellent questions. And we're going to move on to our next caller, Brother Griff. We have a caller from the 845 area code. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Peace. How are you?
Hi, Brother Curtis and Professor Griff. It is an honor to speak to you. I watch your stuff all the time on YouTube whenever I can find it.
Okay, good. I really appreciate that.
It's really good to connect with you. But a couple of things. The first thing is, are you familiar with the Denver airport, talking about swine flu and all of that stuff, and the murals, and how the murals actually point to this mass plague, and they called it the Australian something. And when I looked into it, something about an Australian, some sort of plague, but what they're doing, I think what they did was they did some synthesization with the Aborigine blood, because the Aborigines have a distinctive either a blood volume or a certain blood type that's really superior to most people, supposedly. So I'm thinking that they did something that way. But if you're familiar with it, what do you think about the murals? Because on one of the murals, they were painted by this Mayan artist, and one of the murals has this African woman that's laying dead, this Native American woman that's laying dead, and then there's this white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed child with a sword or something. But if you haven't seen it, they're all over YouTube too. You should check those out. And then the other, yeah, it's the Denver airport, and then they have all types of underground stuff, and the whole airport is designed as a swastika. So I think that goes hand in hand with that New World Order stuff. And the airport was supposedly built by the New World Order Airport Commission or something. And they have an actual plaque that says that. And then the other thing was, I'm trying to hurry up here. It's probably a lot of callers. But the second thing was I listened to one of your other interviews a while back, and you talked about how Jay-Z had, different rap artists had sacrificed people like Aaliyah and all of that stuff, and people like that. Could you go into that a little bit more? And
excellent question.
Yeah, who they're actually down with? Because I'm wondering if Nas and Jay-Z are actually black occultists and not down with the New World Order. I mean, we see them throwing those horns, but how do we know they're actually down other than the fact that they just make poisonous music. So what's your views on that, and could you go back into those sacrificial things that you were talking about?
Oh, okay. Let me just start from the top. I'll make this real quick. I had actually took pictures at the Denver airport, and I guess the extra, what do you call them, people that do the security at the airport, the TSA people?
Yeah.
Oh, this guy wanted to get brownie points and wanted to confiscate my camera. Because I guess he overheard my conversation, and I've never known anyone to get their cameras confiscated at the airport. I've taken pictures before and that kind of thing, but I've actually taken those pictures. I didn't get my chip back out of my camera, so I guess they kept all the pictures, which is cool. But, you know, I'm kind of used to that. I traveled around the world. I was in line in the customs in Helsinki on my way to Russia. And out of 50 people, they pulled my little behind out of line and detained me.
Gee, I wonder why.
Thank you. I never made it to Russia that day, and let me tell you what their excuse was, young lady. They said I didn't have enough pages in my passport to accommodate a visa.
That's so ridiculous.
Now, this is a lame excuse that they gave me. But anyway, so yeah, I'm going to look into that, the Denver airport, and the plaque that was put up, and who's it by, and the blood type of the Aborigines people.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, I'm going to look. But now, let's get to this Jay-Z thing. I did an interview recently and a lecture recently, and a sister filmed it, and she asked me, is it okay if she put it up on YouTube? She put it up on YouTube. I think it's, I forget where it is on YouTube. I can give you the site in a minute if I can remember it. But I dealt with the whole idea of the blood sacrifice that a lot of the rappers, sports players, actors, and actresses had to make in order to move up into the $20 to $50 million club.
Right.
And when I went into it, I went into the fact that how John Patash, in his book, The FBI's War on Tupac and Black Leadership, had went into how there's a direct link between black leaders and black musicians, whom were targeted for assassination, i.e. Jimi Hendrix, Peter Tosh, who else did he mention? He went into Bob Marley. He went into other artists that was targeted for assassination. And when I started looking at this, I said to myself, wow, what is the link between them, black organizations, and black leaders? Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, the Black Panther Party. And is there a connection between them, Jam Master Jay, Tupac, and Biggie? And in his book, the FBI War on Tupac, Shakur, and Black Leadership, they started talking about the program that they had for people to come in to snitch on some of these organizations. So I started doing further research, and I picked up an FBI document. Let me see if I can pull it up so I can read it to you, because I don't want to misquote it. It says, the Negro wants and needs something to be proud of. The Negro youth and moderate must be made to understand that if they succumb to revolutionary teachings, they will be dead revolutionaries. Now, I didn't write that. This is an FBI document that I got my hands on. And in the book, Behold the Pale Horse, written by a white man by the name of William Cooper.
Yeah.
He wrote a book called Behold the Pale Horse. In his book, he even laid it out. And he said, he talked about the diversion is the primary strategy, and the simplest method for securing silent weapons and gaining control of the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant. And this is what I accuse Jay-Z and the rest of them of doing. That research led me to Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, written by Dr. John Coleman, who wrote the Committee 300. The Tavistock Institute of Human Relations, Shaping the Moral, Spiritual, Cultural, Political, and Economic Decline of the United States. Surprisingly enough, Miss, I looked in this book, and I started seeing them talk about rap music. Now, what does British intelligence officers got to do with hip-hop?
Yeah, and that goes to show you.
No, go on. What are you saying?
It goes to show you how threatened they are. Like, they're such cowards. And only if we realize how powerful we are. Look at the lengths they're going to. Look at the lengths they're going to. Like, they're going to start this huge genocide, and they'll be successful because, like you said, a lot of black people don't even want to hear it. And there's only a small minority of conscious people that are black all over the world, but they're such cowards. And when we
Right.
realize that we're in, like, the top position, like, we got this by the balls. But, you know,
But you got to understand something. The main reason why they wanted to do this because young whites were paying attention to black rap artists.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't a thing to have Led Zeppelin and some of the Beatles and John Lennon and some other people, Elvis, on young white Johnny and Susie and Ashley's wall. But no, when Public Enemy was a group that Ashley and Johnny started paying attention to in white suburban America, oh, it became a problem. NWA, Ghetto Boys, Ice-T, Ice Cube, oh, it became a problem. It became a very, very serious problem. And they said in the book that the aim of the 12 Atonal system, devised jointly by British intelligence operatives at Tavistock, they were going to devise a system of music that could program a mass music culture capable of eroding the morals of its listeners.
Yeah, and there you have present-day rap. I mean, it's
exactly.
It's toxic. Now,
all the way from Tavistock Institute out of Britain. Now, we got to understand, and you're absolutely right. You see how far and deep it goes? I did a further research in a book called The First Millennium Edition of the American Directory of Certified Uncle Toms. On page 236, it talks about how black people had control of hip-hop. But when young white businessmen came in and set up these subsidiary companies because their parents and their uncles and relatives had owned the distributing companies, they began to niggerize rap music.
Yeah.
And they wanted to promote the niggerization of rap music. So it became popular for NWA and other groups to call black people niggers and bitches and hoes and get away with it. And they set up NWA to neutralize Public Enemy. But in order to be up in that $20 million club, getting to the Jay-Z thing, Tupac and Biggie had to be taken out of here. In order for Ja Rule, DMX, and Jay-Z to step up in the place that they're in right now.
You know what? I'm sorry.
No, go on.
I always felt that P. Diddy had and I still feel it, like he had, like that, like Biggie was his sacrifice. Like I'm so convinced that this man had more than enough to do with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
no, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Feeling, you know?
All the evidence points to the fact that he had something to do with it. Puffy wasn't no real rapper like that, but as soon as Biggie was off the scene, he came out with his albums.
Yeah.
And now he's up into the $300 and $400 and $500 million club. But it was Damon Dash, it was Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Jay Prince that got together in a private meeting that were going to put together a distributing company to distribute rap music.
Yeah.
Jay-Z, as I'm told, Jay-Z was the one that was called in by the hidden hand, by the Illuminati, and they gave him a $40,000 a night room on a beach somewhere that he spent the weekend with Denzel Washington and some other people sipping $20,000 bottles of Cristal, him and Beyonce. By the time he came back off of that trip, the split between him and Damon Dash began. And all four of those brothers that I mentioned had to do a blood sacrifice, and they had to sacrifice someone if they wanted to take the oath and be up in the $20 to $100 million club, and they did. Damon Dash sacrificed Aaliyah because that's who he was engaged to. Yeah. Suge Knight was sitting right next to Tupac when Tupac got taken out of here. Irv Gotti, him and his brother, got put on a public trial for racketeering charges and fraud. Shantae was supposed to be their sacrifice, but she got out of it. And then last but not least, Jay Prince, the owner of Rap-A-Lot Records out of Texas. He was overheard and known to want to ink a deal with Pimp C. And Pimp C at that time was on the air blasting homosexuals that are in rap music and in the music industry, and they found Pimp C in a hotel dead.
Wow.
So I pointed out Jennifer Hudson's family was a ritual killing. I pointed out Michael Jordan.
That's another thing. That's another thing. I'm totally convinced that Beyonce had something to do with that. Like, I'm totally convinced of it. And she was so insensitive, too, and even admitting on a radio show that she was so and sensitive to where she wouldn't even give condolences. I'm so convinced she has something to do with that, yo. Totally.
That's deep.
I feel it. I know she has something to do with it. Somebody on that end.
But
I love my callers.
We can't put anything past these people. You see Kanye West, his initiation into the Illuminati. He wrote the song or did the music for the song for Jay-Z, Lucifer, Son of the Morning. That was his initiation into the Illuminati. Now Kanye West is in, and Kanye West's mom ended up on a slab, dying. That was his blood sacrifice.
Wow.
Are you following me?
Yes, definitely.
Shine was supposed to be P. Diddy's sacrifice, but they're not through with him yet.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much for taking my call. I know I've gone over.
Good thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you for calling in, sister. You know, as Brother Griff said earlier, you know, I love my listeners. My listeners, they're very sharp. You know, that's right, and they keep me on top of my game. So we really appreciate you calling in, sister. Please enjoy the rest of thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our next caller, brother. We got a caller from, let's see here. We have a caller from the 919 area code, North Carolina. 919. Caller, are you there? North Kakalaki. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Well, I guess they're just listening. I don't blame them. With all this information that's going down tonight, if I wasn't the host, I'd be sitting back listening too. So I really don't blame.
While we got a brief second, we need to look at and start looking at the Bible from an esoteric point of view. A lot of these things that are going down are there, but we're getting such a weak-kneed approach to how revolutionary some of the figures in the Bible and some of the passages in the Bible, the Quran, the Pyramid text, and some of the other very, very revolutionary aspects of some of these particular spiritual teachings are. These are the things that's going to ground us. You understand what I'm saying? These are the things that we have to study and know and understand before we end up like them other people. But there's one I wanted to talk about, the 2 Timothy, third verse, I believe. It says, "This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, and unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure, more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, but denying the power thereof. From such turn away." Today, you walk through the mall, you can't tell the men from the women and the women from the men, man.
Damn.
And we have to understand that, and that's walking right up out of the scripture. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
So we can't blame it on young people. Young people come from us, this generation before them, and we got to understand that we can't just dump it on them. So if young people pull the cover back off some of the songs that we listened to growing up, bro, man, we catch it. You understand?
That's right.
Great.
That's right.
Pull up to the bumper, baby. I heard my oldest brothers, they were listening to a song by Johnny Taylor. Who's making love to your old lady while you out making love? If you can't be with the one you love, just love the one you with. This kind of madness.
Oh, forget about that. Look at the movies. Yeah, look at the movies that was out back then in the 70s. If some of these young brothers and sisters was to see some of those quote unquote blaxploitation movies, they believe me, they would look at us and say, y'all can't say a damn thing to us.
But you know something, we had cultural things in the community that balance these things out. Exactly. And we have to understand. Exactly. And you can read all of that information that I just ran off from the Sex Imperative and Wally Mukay Bomani Baruti. Just put the Sex Imperative in the search engine, and his book will come up. A good brother, man. He wrote a dynamic 300-page book, man, and it breaks all of these things down. Why hip hop and why black music is in the condition that it's in today. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. We're gonna go back to our switchboard, brothers. You know, right. Yeah, because we got a lot of calls. We got a caller from the 954 area code. Caller, are you there?
Florida.
Yeah, caller, are you there? Okay, I guess they're just listening. I don't blame them. We move on to our next caller. Okay, let's see. We got a caller from the 401 area code. Caller, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Peace.
Peace.
Nice to speak to you, Griff, and this is a very enlightening broadcast. I appreciate it.
Oh, give thanks.
Thank you, brother.
Much love. And quick question. I mean, I don't want to take up too much time because I didn't have a thought-out question. But as a person that's in tune with Elijah Muhammad's teachings, I'm not fully, but I'm somewhat aware of them. When do you think that this fall of America will actually go down?
Well, the fall of America is already in progress. You can't see economics coming to a grinding halt.
Well, absolutely. I mean, what was prophesied from Elijah was a little more direct impact kind of ideas.
Right. Give me an example. What's impacting us more than the economics today and the healthcare today? What do you think Elijah Muhammad was talking about?
Well, when he talked about the bombs being planted a mile down and all that.
But you might want to deal with that as symbolic.
Metaphorically kind of thing, yeah.
Or metaphorically, yes. Metaphorically.
All right, well, a quick question on another note then. Like, I was going to ask you something about P. Diddy, but then she brought it up. Because I heard your previous interview when you was talking about how he's just a real funny type person. He's just
very funny.
Real funny. Like, everybody just falls off from him. And, like, I grew up, he was one of the first albums I bought was called No Way Out, NWO, right? Well, that was the first album I bought. I was like 13, maybe 15 years old. And in general, just what's up with that, man? Like, why does everybody seem to just fall off his side? Why doesn't he make anybody else successful? And what is the case? What do you know about that?
Well, if you were the king and you were the king of your castle and your reign as king over your particular subjects, why would you make one of your subjects your equal and give them the power? Then they could take over your kingdom, right or wrong.
Absolutely.
One very interesting thing about the movie that came out notorious about B.I.G. was the fact that Biggie was talking about leaving, setting up his own thing.
Mm-hmm.
A minute later, Biggie was dead. Biggie was dead.
That's why I have a feeling. I'm sorry. I have a feeling quiet as kept that him and Tupac had an agreement and some type of affiliation.
Of course they did. And this wasn't known by the vast majority of the people. This was known by them two and a few other people around them. It's interesting, man. It tracked down a DVD that's out on the street, man, with Little C's in it. Little C's is a very honest brother, man, and he'll tell you straight up. I ran into him a couple of times. He'll tell you straight up, man. There's some funny stuff going on with Puffy.
Yeah, I've seen Little Caesar show up here and there, and he discusses things. He's not indirect about it, but you know he's not trying to undig the grave, so to speak. But
right.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and keep rocking on. I really appreciate it.
Give thanks.
Keep on in peace. I appreciate it.
All right.
Give thanks, brother. Appreciate your call. You know, please hang around. And, yeah, we're going to move on to our next caller here. We have a caller from the 619 area code. Caller, are you there?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Peace.
Hi. I wanted to know that while you guys are out there, all you brothers, teaching everybody and giving them information, what do we as women, what are your expectations of us while we're still in the community? And especially for, like, the single mothers, and just single meaning the thought process. Like, I get it, but nobody else around me gets it. How do we protect ourselves? How do we protect our children?
That's a very, very deep question. We're going to take our time on that one. Make sure that if she's still on the line, make sure she get my email address, because there's some documents that I could send her directly dealing with this, the mastery of self and what the sisters need to do to get the children through this whole vaccination thing that they're trying to force, the mandatory flu shots, getting them educated because they're going to outlaw homeschooling. We're going to put the petty bickering aside in order to master self, in order to come together, like-minded sisters coming together, looking out for one another. One of the first things we got to do is we got to check how we're dealing with our mates. You understand what I'm saying? And this is a lot of information that I've kind of pulled together having that same discussion, sister, here in Atlanta that I put together, that we don't have time on this particular broadcast to do it. But if you email me, my email address is the number 7, the letter TH, and the word octave, OCTAVE @gmail.com, or just call me 678-557-2919, and I'll email you this particular guide and these principles on how to master self, will subsequently lead you to how to deal with other people around you, especially negative people around you, so you can protect your child. Seriously.
Thank you.
Oh, give
thanks. Thank you, sister. Thank you for calling in. Excellent question. And we're going to keep it moving. We have another caller here from, let's see, the 843 area code. Caller, are you there?
I don't know where that is.
Caller, are you there? 843. Yes, they're just listening. Okay, we're going to keep it moving. We got somebody coming up next, brother, that's in your neck of the woods. 404 area code. Caller, are you there?
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, brother. Peace.
Peace. Knowledge, man.
Peace.
Oh, peace.
Brother Griff. Man, I want to just let y'all brothers know, man, I'm giving thanks. I'm feeling with all 10 fingers, man, and I feel what y'all brothers saying right now.
Oh, give thanks, man. We really appreciate that.
Brother Griff, I just want to let you know, man, just keep the word and the power going. You know what I'm saying? Public Enemy, always been a favorite of mine since day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I know they're trying to knock us out the word, but simple enough to say, man. I have a lot to say, but I can only try to sum it up in a few words, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That basically we fighting a battle, and the battle is ourselves. You know, our greatest weapon we have is our mind.
Right.
You know, everything else that we see, everything that is manifested, is a trickle down from basically everything that we can imagine or even picture before it even becomes a sound through our mouths, before it even executed as the power of action. You see what I'm coming from?
Right.
The moment we start, the moment we can start getting in tune with basically ourselves and our true nature, getting back into like how you were saying with our godliness, you know, knowing who we are as a people. You know, it's just like I was listening to another brother the other day. He was talking about, you know, chemistry and about the people of Chem. And once we start to get in tune with the knowledge of who we are as a people, then we start to have dignity for ourselves. Our youth are not given. That's like it's, you know, I have a neighbor of mine. Her son is going through trial right now for something which most of us as young black men go through until we come of age. And by that time, the lessons are so hard learned. You know, we always believe that we have to actually go through that action when it's actually, again, system by design. So that way we must fail. But there's something within us as a connection that is something that is undeniable, and it's also a power that is inevitable for us to overcome and become and take our rightful throne. By the year 2020, we already know what this planet is going to be like. They might try to indoctrinate, change things in a perceptive way, because you cannot change the truth. But there's always an inward conception that's always moving, that's always in life, you know. But that's why we're here, and that's why I give thanks to brothers like you guys, you know, that's out there giving the word, giving the knowledge, so that we may be able to establish ourselves. Just like the previous sister that called, you know, that's more power, because that's something that we need to strengthen. Just as they tell us about the Holy Trinity, they tell us about the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit. They don't tell the woman she is the Holy Spirit, that carrier of life. You know, executive manifestation of that. Once we start to arm our women, you know, just as getting out that Willie Lynch syndrome of teaching them.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, straight up, when it comes to the sisters, man, I get more sisters that's ready to step up to the plate, man, than brothers. In a minute, man, seriously, when my back gets against the wall, I'm going to have to just get an army of women, man, to go deal with this thing, man, because brothers don't seem like they truly, really, really want to step up, man. Sisters
Ain't that the truth?
Sisters are eating right. Sisters are, I don't want them to take the front lines, but it seems like if the brothers won't, man, it's going to be a serious, serious problem, man, and brothers going to have issues with me, for real, man. Seriously, because before I get to the point where, you know, I'm calling out the known ones, a lot of brothers in the hood with knowledge of self, man, are taking advantage of sisters. They think they got an intelligent, conscious brother, and the brothers look at the sisters, you know, like they weak, feeble-minded individuals, and they're using the sisters and taking advantage of the sisters. You understand what I'm saying? You cannot be a warrior, a conscious warrior, and a soldier if you're not taking care of your children, man. Plain and simple, man. There's no way around that. The first institution that we need to put back intact is the family. So Amos Wilson asked the question, he says, we must look at the pathology of everyday life, and we must recognize we cannot have it both ways, brothers. We cannot talk about the people who enslaved us. We cannot who discriminate against us, who insult us, who do all manner of evil things against us, and then turn around and use them as models of normality. We can't turn around and take our children away from the women and send them off to our open enemy school and expect our children to be normal. We can't do that. So that sister that called in and wanted that information, yeah, we need to set up homeschools because we need to teach our own children.
That's right.
I got a 13-year-old.
The Jews do it. The yeshiva system. The Jews do it.
But we don't do it.
See, history has always proved the women has always stood up. The thing is that, you know, if we lose the train of thinking, you know, of being able to know that the thing is that we have an issue of trust, and that trust issue comes from ourselves. Number one, if we really have that faith, or, you know, whether it be through indoctrination or knowledge of self, that we are halves of each other, and we do make the whole, and without one, none is complete, that there is a lack of love for self, really and truly, that brings us to that train of thinking where we think our women have to be in an inferior state for us to take our rightful throne. We fail to realize, again, it's dominion, not domination, you know. But again, that's part of the lower self taking charge, and it's been through centuries of this indoctrination being in place. You know, from like it was said that the sisters was taught to indoctrinate the fear within the youth, so that the youth can grow up now.
Right.
You know, walk about without a head. He be blind to himself. He don't know where he is, who he is. All he knows is that, you know. Again, look at the education system. We're given a left side brain education, which means that we only function on a level where we're taught how to do basic math, how to read, write, say yes sir, yes ma'am, can keep doing the everyday things. You know? So I mean, what more can we say, brother? You know, just keep doing what we have to do.
I think we've said enough in that particular area, because I think the sisters that are listening, they already understand this point, man. We talking beneath them. They've already passed that point. They looking for brothers to step up, to show them physically on what to do, man. And whether or not they want to know it, man, we're going to protect them if they do the damn thing. If they decide not to take the vaccination, if they decide to homeschool, are we going to protect them? And I'm telling you, man, every state I go into, every city I go into, there's a handful of brothers that's willing and ready to do this. But the vast majority of us acting like pussies, man, straight up.
Brother, my email address
we talk, and when it comes time to actually doing something to protect and elevate the woman, man, we somewhere else, bro.
Brother, you saying fabulous words. I'm going to drop my email address, get in touch with me. I know there's a lot of other callers there. I was one of the ones on the line anticipating.
All right.
Turn, so I want to show everybody else some love. That's in queue. Keep it going. Give your word and your support. Mine is
peace.
SEBEN, word and out, point.god@hotmail. Peace.
Peace, brother. It was a pleasure.
Curtis, there was one book I failed to mention to a couple of callers ago when she was talking about Puffy, how Puff burned bad boys, the bad boys of hip hop. It's a book called Dancing with the Devil by Mark Curtis. Mark Curtis, Dancing with the Devil, how Puff burned the bad boys of hip hop.
Damn. Oh, yeah, believe me, I'm writing all this literature down. You're going to have me doing a whole lot of reading, but I love to read anyway. That's why I love it.
And that sister that asked about what should the sisters do, she might want to get Dr. Scott Whitaker's book. It's called Medicine, MEDISIN, Medicine. And that brother lays a few things out in there that we could start doing, looking up religious exempt forms to not vaccinate your children, and that kind of stuff. Layla Africa's book teaching us not to feed our children meat and this processed food and this franken food and this madness, these dairy products. We need to leave that chicken and that cow and definitely that pig alone.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to squeeze in one more caller, brother.
All right.
One more caller. We got, let's see, where's this caller coming from? Okay, we have a caller. Let's get him up on the switchboard. A caller from the 843 area code. 843 area code. Caller, are you there? Caller, are you there? Okay, I guess they're just listening. Like I said, I don't blame them. We got about 11 minutes left, brother. So please, finish teaching. Let us know what's going. Go ahead, brother.
Let me finish giving the book list in case this 11 minutes go by real quick.
Oh yeah, brother, that's what you're here for.
I'm just giving them insight on some of the material that I'm studying, because I don't want them to think I'm just brainiac. You understand what I'm saying? But I do take my time. I meditate and I study. But one last thing to that sister, man, because I don't know why I'm feeling it in my spirit right now. I've learned the art of becoming a woman's friend that has children and strictly becoming those children's uncle without having to deal with the woman physically. That, the warriors and the soldiers that are out in the field, we need to learn. Every woman I meet, man, I don't have to have sex with her. We have to understand that, man. And we're under this mentality that we only have 2 or 3 emotions that we even operate between. The reason why we have Jesus and the 12 is esoteric. You understand what I'm saying? The 12 disciples represent 12 different emotions that we're supposed to operate between. So I can meet a beautiful sister, a very spirited sister, a warrior that want to learn and that want to be taught without dealing with her on that level. Are you following me? We have to learn that, brothers, seriously, because there's sisters out here that are crying out for some guidance, man. But there's 2 other books. It's called How to Hustle and Win. It's Survival Guide for the Ghetto, Part 1 by Supreme Understanding. He wrote another book called Rap, Race, and the Revolution, Solutions for Our Struggle. The foreword written by Stickman of Dead Prayers. Once again, Supreme Understanding. These are 2 books, man, that I kept with me for a couple of months, man. Because there's so much information in them books. And if you just get into the knowledge yourself and you want a place to start, that's one good place to start. One last book that I used, one of the books that I used to take my son through his rites of passage. My son is 19. He's a DJ. He's all up in the music thing. He's online doing this thing. But one of the books that I used to take him through his rites of passage is called Blackout Through Whitewash by Dr. Suzar. Blackout Through Whitewash by Suzar. Once again, that sister that was looking for that information, if she go to a search engine and put in Blackout Through Whitewash by Dr. Suzar, Suzar, that's a very, very critical book, and that's one of the books we can use in homeschooling to educate our children. Every great philosopher that came to us taught know thyself, and that's where we need to start, with self.
Oh yeah, let me just throw in a website there that I've been checking out all the time. It's AboveTopSecret.com. AboveTopSecret.com. Also, RedIceCreations.com. That's Red Ice.
Red Ice?
Yeah, Red Ice, like in the cold as ice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, RedIceCreations.com, and the other one is AboveTopSecret.com.
Okay. Let me just throw out one main one that as soon as I turn my computer on that comes up all the time. It's www.educate-yourself.org. And I believe they got a mirror site.com. So www.educate-yourself, that's the dash, the symbol, dash, yourself.org.
I see. Definitely. All this info. We got about 7 minutes left, brother. Please let us know what's going on, how you can be reached, and what you got coming up. But I just want to let the fam know that Brother Professor Master Griff is family. So get used to seeing him, because every time he comes here, as you can see, he rocks the house. So now he's going to start being a frequent visitor. Okay, it's not going to be. I know the brother's busy. We can't grab him as much as we would like to, because the brother's constantly traveling, constantly teaching, just like a master teacher does. But I can promise you, that this brother will be here much more frequently. I can promise you that. We talk all the time, and anytime the brother's busy, we're gonna have him right here. Count on that.
Okay.
So please, brother, let us know what you got coming up, how you can be reached, and what's going on.
Okay, well, as you know, I've always given out my phone number. It's my actual phone number. I don't get a phone call, surprisingly enough. I think, first of all, people don't believe it, and then I think people are afraid because of my aura and my energy. But I let people know I'm truly a nice guy. It's just that I don't like people calling me with foolishness. You understand what I'm saying? But my phone number is 678-557-2919. It's 678-557-2919. My email address is 7thoctave@gmail.com. That's the number 7, the letters THOCTAVE. I'm almost at the end of my album with my band called the 7th Octave. The album is called God Damage. My book is coming out September 10th, and it's entitled Analytics. It's 20 years of interviews and conversations with yours truly, the Minister of Information, Public Enemy, Professor Griff. And I think someone that's listening to this program is calling me right now, but I can't take the call. Let me see. And the book that's following that is The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop. Starting September 1st, this Tuesday at 7 o'clock, I'm teaching an online class called The Psychological Covert War on Hip-Hop. For all these discussions that we've had on this program and other programs, I'm going to break down and give the documentation.
Okay, what I want you to do for me, brother, is send me the information on your class and other information that you want put out. I will put it up, and it will be emphasized not only on Occult Science Radio, which has a huge following, but also on OccultScience.tv. I'm going to place it right in the announcements. Okay, so everybody who comes to OccultScience.tv, they're going to know about your class, they're going to know about your book, they're going to know about everything that's coming up, as well as those that come to Occult Science Radio.
I really appreciate that.
Hey, you know how we do, brother.
Right. I want people to know, man, my whole life, ever since I got the phone call from the Creator, I've been on this mission. I don't care if I did it, but I did this before Public Enemy. I want people to know that. You understand what I'm saying? Public Enemy is that vehicle that I got together with Chuck Flay, Terminator X, brought the S1Ws along, and, you know, we put something down. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I want people to know that this is just not something that I'm doing for the time being. You know my name is on the list, Curtis, along with yours. Are you following me? I have no other choice but to see this thing through. Plain and simple, man. Plain and simple. That's right.
And we all on the front lines with you, brother. And I just want to take this time. And this is not only coming from me, but this is coming from the fam. Judging by the feedback we're getting in the chat room, we want to give you a wholehearted thanks, brother, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here with us. I mean, it's been an honor and a pleasure. And we're looking forward to your next visit already. Okay. And but yeah, brother, you know, we'll set that up, you know, because we talk all the time. I'll be in your ear about that. But yeah, brother, thank you so much. Thank you for all the information you dropped tonight, all the you know, the sources that you gave to the fam tonight. So now, after tonight, after these 2 hours of listening to Professor Griff, there shouldn't be anybody who listens to this broadcast. If you're ignorant now, believe me, you shouldn't be ignorant after you listen to this broadcast. Notice I didn't say ignorant, I said ignorant. Okay? Because when you're ignorant, you just don't know. When you're ignorant, that means you just don't want to know. Okay? So you got to know. But once again, brother, we thank you so much. We're going to bring you back again. Oh, we're going to keep you coming back here. This is going to be home. Okay?
Okay, good. Thanks, man.
Oh, yeah,
anytime
brother.
Anytime I got free time to do it, I'm going to do it because it's just a wealth of information that I have. I'm piecing apart right now the bloodlines of the Illuminati. I know it's been done before. But what I'm doing is piecing apart the bloodline of the Illuminati and what's their connection to hip-hop. Like, for example, who's Jay-Z's handler? I want to know who his handler is. Who does he report to? Who's writing his check? You understand what I'm saying? We need to start identifying these families in this bloodline.
I think it's a little hint there. Rockefeller.
Okay, well, hell, the name of his company is Rockefeller, so hey, that ain't hard to figure out, but we're going to dive into it next time we talk. We're going to dive into it.
Oh, yeah, and I want to thank the fam for taking time out of your schedules as well to be here at Occult Science Radio. I mean, there's plenty of other things you could have been doing, but you chose to be here at Occult Science Radio. So we want to thank you as well, fam, as well as thank Brother Master Griff. You know, so thank you much again, brother. Thank the fam for being here. And once again, brother, we look forward to you coming back.
All right, give thanks, brother.
Give thanks. And we want to thank our sponsors, Per Ankh Incorporated, House of Life. That's www.peranku.org. And OccultScience.tv, our newest sponsor, www.occultscience.tv. And the Ancient Mysteries Bookstore, which can be found on Occult Science Radio's main page, as well as occultscience.tv. Thank you much, fam. Once again, we thank our guests. And please, you know, tune in on our next broadcast. But please, take advantage of those resources. Peace, power, and love. Walk with strength. Peace, everybody.
Peace.